Coming up on Fulton Today, Fulton officials reflect on the 2012 general election process. We'll have details on the lessons learned. And Superior Court finds a way to help veterans deal with alcohol and drug abuse. Fulton Today is next.
From the Government Center in downtown Atlanta, you're watching Fulton Today with Shania Chavis.
Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. I'm Shania Chavis. We begin with a story for the thousands of veterans living in Fulton County. As you may know, many veterans who put their lives on the line for their country also struggle with personal wars of their own, wars of drug and alcohol abuse, even mental illness. Well, Fulton Superior Court received a federal grant to help many of these veterans. Yolanda Lewis is the court administrator with Superior Court, and she's here now to tell us all about it. Yolanda, welcome back to Fulton Today.
Hi, Shania. Thanks for having me.
So I understand this is about the Veterans Expanded Treatment Services Grant. Tell us all about it.
Well, our court is very excited to have been awarded $750,000 in federal funds to start a Veterans Expanded Treatment Service Program. This is a grant that will be divided into equal parts for the next 3 years that will allow us to hire at least 3 staff people who specifically will be addressing the issue of co-occurring disorders, mental health, and drug addiction with veterans that are incarcerated here in Fulton County.
And Yolanda, explain to us more about the numbers of veterans in the criminal justice system.
Well, first of all, let me just say that we really look at veterans as a respected class of individuals in our country. We have several judges who've served in the military. We actually have one judge that is actively serving in Afghanistan. And so it's important to our court, it's important to our country to provide a program like this that honors the service of individuals who have served in our armed forces. What we've come to know is that in the last year, we served over 800 individuals, and 20% of those individuals were actually veterans. What we know about our population of veterans is that they are largely homeless, they have disconnected from their families, and amazingly, 25% of them had already been to prison by the time they received treatment in our accountability courts. And so we believe that this program is very important, it's critical, it's sustainable. We believe that it is going to not only help the veterans that are currently here who served in the armed forces in other wars, but also those individuals that are coming back off of the recent war. And we really want to provide some type of sustainability treatment to them if they are involved in the criminal justice system.
And this program will operate under one of our accountability courts programs. Will the requirements differ from the other accountability courts?
Well, what we know is that we've had great success with our intake requirements for our accountability courts, our mental health, and our drug court now. We will certainly take into consideration some of the real factors that apply to veterans, like post-traumatic stress and things of that nature, but many of our intake requirements will be the same. And so we're looking forward to a lot of successful veterans going through our program.
And the program itself, how will it be structured for the veterans?
Well, we're still putting together our steering committee so that we're able to really put together a very good program for our veterans. We're going to focus on treatment, which is going to be the primary factor here. We're also going to focus on benefits and those things that are important to veterans, reconnecting them with their families, getting them employed, making sure that they're viable citizens and they can in fact live out their life because they've given so much to our country. And so what we want to do is give them an opportunity to come back, receive the treatment and counseling that they need, and of course be viable citizens in our community that we can respect and definitely honor them for their service.
All right, Fulton County Superior Court Administrator Yolanda Lewis, always great information. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks again for having me.
Now, to get more information on any of Fulton's accountability courts, you can contact Superior Court Administration Division. MARTA's outgoing CEO gives county commissioners a quarterly briefing on its financial future. The briefing included results of an audit by a national firm, KMPG. The report found that MARTA's current financial structure is unsustainable and could seriously threaten its reserves over the next 6 years.
We cannot cut ourselves to simply sustainability. It is going to take an absolutely new investment that winds up coming from the state of Georgia, from other regional partners and local and local entities to wind up being able to help us have the kind of competitive transit system and expanded regional transit system that this region needs. Fulton County residents certainly deserve after their 35 years of investment in MARTA.
The audit also found that the transit system scored favorably in most major categories. It was the last briefing for Beverly Scott. Her 5-year contract expires at the end of the year to head the Boston Transit Authority. Keith Parker of the San Antonio Transit Authority has been appointed to replace her. Well, after months of preparations, a few setbacks, and lots of victories, the 2012 general election is over. FGTV's Annalise Baker has been following this story, and she joins us now with some of the lessons learned for Fulton officials.
Shania, there were a lot of lessons learned along this long election process, but now that Election Day is over, the steps to ensure a smooth running election have just begun. When Fulton's interim election chief gave her final public hearing last week on Election Day, she had already planned to meet with her team afterwards to assess just how the process went overall. In fact, the entire Board of Registration and Elections also met just as the polls were officially closed on Election Day.
What I learned is that training is everything. We have to take our time in a non-election cycle, and the department has to essentially train the poll managers, train the poll workers about what to do in different situations.
What the board and the interim director wants to know is what went well and what can be done better for the next election. After challenges in the July primary and a change in the leadership months before the general election, all eyes had been on Fulton County to see if the November process would improve. Election officials say it did.
Our primary concern for this election was to ensure that every eligible voter had the opportunity to cast their ballots and have it counted. Now, while there was an inordinate amount of attention on a few unfortunate situations, we believe that we were able to keep our promise to the majority of the voters as relates to conducting a good election.
All of Fulton's 346 precincts opened as scheduled despite power outages when heavy rain fell on Election Day. And though there were long lines at some precincts, election officials say the over 2,000 poll workers were enough to handle the crowds. Over the next several months, officials will take a look at their 2012 general election process, including the advanced voting process, which this year saw over 152,000 voters. And once all of the data and post-election facts are in, they vow to make immediate changes for the lesson learned for the next election process.
Is there work to be done? For sure. And I just want to assure the taxpayers of Fulton County that the work will be done, and everybody's dedicated to make this process much more seamless and much more, quite frankly, enjoyable.
Reporting for FGTV, I'm Annalise Baker.
Meanwhile, Fulton County is ready to sell some of its surplus real estate. 6 parcels of property totaling 22 acres are up for sale throughout the county. 2 parcels are in Sandy Springs, 2 are located on Fairburn Road, and 1 in Alpharetta and 1 in Palmetto. They are either vacant land or vacant land with buildings on them. The sales could generate about $5 million for the county.
I think the key thing is that, like I said earlier, that we want to be efficient in terms of how we manage taxpayer resources, and the county has determined that these properties and facilities are access to the county needs, and we want to return these properties back to the community for better use.
Interested parties should submit their bids by logging on to the county's purchasing department website and then clicking on the bid opportunities link. Potential buyers must have a real estate agent in order to submit a bid.
We'll make sure the official documentation is in order, and whoever's submitting a bid has the financial resources to actually be certified as a proper bidder.
The deadline to submit your bid is November 21st at 11 a.m. Well, the Office of the Child Attorney needs your help. They are sponsoring a food drive for children in the foster care system. This particular drive is designed to help families caring for foster children during the Thanksgiving holiday.
And what we do is collect canned goods and non-perishable items for families who are supporting our child clients.
The office collects items for these families year-round with a back-to-school drive in the fall and a toy drive around Christmas.
It's amazing what a difference these little small items make to a family who's just struggling to keep it together.
Now, if you'd like to make a donation, a barrel is set up inside the Juvenile Court building at 395 Pryor Street. If you need a pickup, you can contact the Office of the Child Attorney social worker Stephanie Pate. And still to come, North Fulton students get a valuable lesson on the environment. It's a part of our district by district coverage next.
You're watching Fulton Today.
The Economic Development Division focuses on increasing the county's tax base, and the renovation of a county health facility nears completion. Here's this week's district by district coverage.
We begin in District 1 with Chairman John Eves calling on the county's Economic Development Division and business professionals to assist in growing the county's tax base. Members of the Economic Development Advisory Board and its subcommittees put on their thinking caps to identify emerging trends in areas like real estate, technology, and education.
We are looking for strategies that would increase private investments in Fulton County so that more taxes are raised that will go into the Treasury and more services can be provided at a much higher level of quality.
The team includes professionals from different backgrounds and expertise.
We thought it was very, very important for us to have diverse interests and representation on this committee. So we have people from North Fulton, South Fulton, the City of Atlanta, as well as some of the municipalities in North and South Fulton. We also have people from the business community.
The Economic Development Division started the process of highlighting the county's assets through advertising.
Marketing, advertising, branding, and rebranding. These are major assets of the county. They extend throughout the county. We have to get that word out.
The Economic Development Advisory Board will meet again on February 4th, 2013. In District 3, high school students will spend more time learning outdoors thanks to their new classroom. Centennial High School students in Roswell now have the opportunity to learn and enjoy nature at the same time. Their outdoor classroom includes plants and park benches, courtesy of a National Wildlife Habitat certification and a proclamation from District 3 Commissioner Liz Hausman.
She brought out a proclamation that quite humbled me. It was a Julie Burroughs Appreciation Day, and I was speechless. I was so surprised. Over the years, I've been working with the students here at Centennial, and we have done an incredible amount of environmental education and community service and service learning.
Educators say that access to an outdoor classroom is beneficial to students.
It helps students become self-sufficient. It empowers them because they're learning skills while they're outside, and it empowers them to be able to do other things.
I think it's just a lot more hands-on, you know, because if you're in a classroom, you don't really get to experience anything. But out here, it's more hands-on. You actually learn how to do stuff and how to plant and water and all of that, as opposed to a classroom. You can't actually do that, but now we have an outdoor classroom.
Earlier this year, Johns Creek received a National Wildlife Certification and proclamation from Commissioner Hausman, thanks to the work of Malcolm Bernard, a high school student from North Fulton. In District 4, community members and loved ones pay their respects to one of their own by creating a memorial at Big Trees Forest Preserve in Sandy Springs. Harriet Mills, a community activist, proved that one person can affect an entire community. Mrs. Mills was a mentor to many, and she was instrumental in helping establish Sandy Springs as a city.
She worked with Mayor Galambos before the mayor was mayor, and was very active with the city council, spent lots of time on the phone going over issues about zoning and traffic, and was just incredibly responsive to the people in her district.
A Carolina Silverbell tree and memorial bench were installed and dedicated at Big Trees Forest Preserve for Mrs. Mills. She passed away earlier this year at age 80. In District 5, Vice Chair Emma I. Darnell and other county officials presented a proclamation to recognize National Prematurity Awareness Month. Fulton County's Health Services Department focuses on pregnancy programs to assist women in receiving prenatal care. According to reports, preterm births claim the lives of more than 50% of infant deaths in the U.S.
The county has implemented a continuum model as a strategy to address premature births as well as infant mortality. And our continuum model includes aggressive outreach.
The prematurity birth rate has risen by 36% in the last 25 years. The county's prenatal care program offers home visits by a nurse, educational classes, and referrals to medical resources. We will have more on National Prematurity Awareness Month later on in the show. In District 6, Commissioner Joan P. Garner takes a tour of the newly renovated Oak Hill Child, Adolescence, and Family Center. She shakes hands with the builders of the facility. The 22-acre campus will include pediatric services, a teen health care clinic, programs for youth, and an education center.
This is phenomenal to take a 22-acre campus with, I think, originally 7 facilities, to turn this into a center for youth, children and their families, a medical center, an educational center, and to connect the buildings. It is phenomenal. It is phenomenal for this community, but on a whole, it is phenomenal for Fulton County. And what's so unique about it is that this took a partnership. And so we have engineers and we have construction managers working together with the community and the Fulton County team to make this a top-notch, dynamic facility.
The center is located at 2805 Metropolitan Parkway in Atlanta. The grand opening is expected to take place later this year. And finally, in District 7, the Wolf Creek Amphitheater gives a special thanks for a successful concert season. According to reports, this year over 20,000 people visited the facility from May to October. Events like a gospel explosion, an evening of classic soul, a Labor Day festival, and a Summer Nights Jazz Festival were part of the festivities. Music artists like Shirley Caesar, Fantasia, The Whispers, and Erykah Badu have performed at the venue. The public enjoyed the concerts and are looking forward to many more. The venue is a 435-acre site in South Fulton County that can hold 5,200 guests. For more information about the calendar of events, log on to www.wolfcreekamphitheater.com. With this week's District by District coverage, I'm Darrell Peak.
Thank you very much. Now, you can catch your commissioners at work all this week with the rebroadcast of the Board of Commissioners meeting right here on FGTV. And when we come back, a fall festival with a healthy twist. Stay with us.
You're watching Fulton Today.
Portions of the following segment are part of the Fulton County Common Ground Initiative. Common Ground, the county's comprehensive solution to the problem of health disparities in the community.
County Health Services goes all out for World AIDS Day. It is the focus of this week's Common Ground report. FGTV's Lynn Vaughn has the story from the Aldridge Center.
Shania, World AIDS Day is commemorated each December 1st to call attention to HIV/AIDS patients and to make note of the progress that's being made in the prevention, treatment, and care of those patients. The theme through 2015 for World AIDS Day is Getting to Zero.
That's 0 new infections, 0 AIDS-related deaths, and 0 discrimination.
There are certain stigmas still associated with HIV and AIDS, and we want to eliminate that. And we want to eliminate people still becoming infected because this disease is preventable. So the theme over this 5-year time frame is getting to zero. We don't want any more new infections. We don't want people dying because there is medication available.
Health Services is sponsoring several big events like this one held earlier this year, beginning Wednesday, November 28th through Saturday, December 1st. And with preventing new infections as the goal, we'll pass out free condoms at each event. There will be mobile testing clinics at a number of locations, a town hall meeting at the Auburn Avenue Research Library, and a fashion contest and show called Project Condom.
For those people who are into reality TV shows, they may know Project Runway, and this is a little version of Project Runway, but it's a preventative version. So we have amateur designers and models designing garments that are wearable, and they're going to show off their design in a high fashion show at Morehouse College campus on Wednesday, November 28th at 6 p.m.
Sponsors say they hope the lighter approach of this event, featuring local apprentice designers and models, helps lessen the stigma of condom use.
But the whole show is to combat stigma around condom use and to increase condom use, especially amongst young people, because we're seeing a lot of new infections in younger populations. So we want to just let them know that using condoms and talking about condom use within your relationship is necessary as a means to prevent and getting to zero.
So here's a list of the major events to be on the lookout for. Wednesday, November 28th, HIV testing will be available all day at the DeKalb Addiction Clinic. That evening at 6 p.m., the Project Condom Fashion event kicks off. On Thursday, the 29th, you can take an HIV test at the Fulton County Aldrich Health Center and at the DeKalb Board of Health Vinson Clinic beginning at 8 a.m. And on Friday, the 30th, an afternoon town hall meeting will take place at the Auburn Avenue Research Library. All events are free and open to everyone. Call Health Services at 404-613-1461 if you have questions. With Fulton County's Common Ground Report, I'm Lynn Vaughn, FGTV.
The county's first full-service integrated care center says thank you to surrounding communities. The Neighborhood Union Health Center in Vine City opened in early 2009, and since then, it's become a treasured resource in the area it serves. To introduce all of the services that are available, Neighborhood Union hosted its first fall fair. Workforce Development, Cooperative Extension, the Office of Aging, and of course the library's Rocky the Reading Raccoon were all on hand. And there were the all-important health screenings, like those for blood pressure and blood sugar levels.
If you're a type 1 diabetic or type 2 and you don't know about your blood sugars, diabetes doesn't necessarily kill you. It takes your parts first. It takes your kidneys, your eyesight, so you start getting cramps in your legs, can take your feet.
Fulton's police and fire department stress safety and the importance of getting to know one's neighbors.
A lot of people came to my table and want to talk about some of the crime prevention techniques or some of the crime prevention tools that I have on my table, and I've been explaining to them how important it is to be proactive rather than reactive when it comes to burglary and crimes.
One resident loved the screenings and the great fall weather.
Hey, it's good, man, just to come out here and get the sun and get the exercise and meet a lot of interesting people and, you know, get to shake some hands and, you know, have a great time.
Now, you can visit or call the Neighborhood Union Health Center on Sunset Avenue in Southeast Atlanta. That number, 404-612-4665. And once again, it is that time of year again when we focus on promoting full-term births. Each November, the March of Dimes issues a report card grading the rate of premature births overall and in each state. The U.S. received a C, and Georgia didn't fare that well. Its grade is a D. But in Fulton, we are partnered with the March of Dimes and have stepped up our game. Health Services has also partnered with the Center for Black Women's Wellness to help women receive prenatal care in the first trimester of their pregnancies.
Fulton County has the highest premature or very low birth weight babies in the southeastern region of the country, and that's significant. Low birth weight babies are pretty costly with their care, and not only with their care, low birth weight babies or premature infants will usually have some type of developmental delay that will follow them throughout their lifespan.
It's extremely important that we educate young women, moms, on the importance of prenatal care. We also are working with healthcare providers to stress the importance of carrying a baby full term, which is 39 weeks.
Fulton will arrange home visits by a public health nurse or outreach worker and can refer pregnant mothers to other resources as needed. Commissioners recognize the extraordinary work of the county's program during November as Prematurity Awareness Month. Contact Health Services at 404-612-1211 to take advantage of the services to ensure healthy babies. And still to come on Fulton Today, a memorable exhibit on life here in the South. Stay with us.
You're watching Fulton Today.
Sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words, and in this case, 1,000 stories. Photographic stories of people from Alabama, Albany, Georgia, and the homeless in downtown Atlanta now hang in the Hammonds house as an exhibit called Southern States. The photographer relies on his pictures to convey the message that we're all human despite our differences.
For a lot of us, we're only a few paychecks away from being homeless and could be on the street. We don't really take that into consideration. And, you know, it was my attempt to kind of humanize them more than they are currently seen in society.
This is the last week for the exhibit at the Hammonds House Museum. You can go online for hours of operations. Well, that ever popular saying, "got milk," got some kids thinking about nutrition. The mobile dairy classroom at the Central Library helps students show off everything they knew about cows and the benefits of cow's milk. They learned how to milk a cow by hand with a milking machine and how milk goes from the farm to the grocery store. However, the children did not know that if they ate 3 dairy products a day, they could grow strong and big.
It's a great source of calcium, dairy products. One, they're delicious and they're full of calcium, and it's important that kids have strong bones and teeth.
According to the National Institutes of Health, most calcium is stored in bones and teeth. Now you can log on to afpls.org to check out other health and exercise classes. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to hear from you about the stories and programs here on FGTV. Go to our website to take a survey or email or call us. The number 404-612-8317. The email address is fgtv.feedback@fultoncountyga.gov. You can also follow us on twitter.com/FGTV and friend us on Facebook. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis. Thank you for joining us. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.